USA Sports, in association with Volvo Tennis, presents the 1985 Hombre Soler World Team Cup. From the Rokas Club in Dusseldorf, West Germany, a beautiful setting for the 8th annual Hombre Soler World Team Cup. It's the finals today on USA. 8 teams representing top players in 8 qualifying countries began the week here in Dusseldorf. Today, only 2 remain: the defending champion, United States, and the repeat finalist country, Czechoslovakia. And what a final it is, with John McEnroe facing Ivan Lendl in the opening singles match, followed by Jimmy Connors against the latest Czech sensation, Miloslav Mashir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here at the Rokas Club in Dusseldorf, West Germany. Beautiful day for tennis. I'm Barry McKay, along with John Parsons, who's been reporting tennis for a long time, 25 years to be exact. He's now with the Daily Telegraph and knows a great deal about this game. John, wonderful to have you with us.
It's delightful to be here.
We're in for a great afternoon of tennis. Ivan Lendl against John McEnroe. Of course, last year, McEnroe, the hot player on clay. This year, it's Ivan Lendl. What do you think we've got to look for today, John?
Well, I think a lot will depend on the tactics of the two men, particularly if Lendl can play as he did in New York recently at Forest Hills, where he really worried McEnroe with a lot of new things in his game. McEnroe was only saying this week how he was put off considerably by a backhand top-spin cross-court shot from Lendl. Lendl, as you know, usually goes down the line, particularly with his service returns, but he was catching McEnroe out with new shots, and I think McEnroe's got to find a way of counteracting that.
The second match, Miloslav Mashir from Czechoslovakia, a hot young player, one of the hottest in the game today, against Jimmy Connors. What about that match, John?
Just as fascinating as the first, and the interesting thing will be whether Mashir can manage to get his beautiful range of shots working. He can play almost every shot in the book. He has lovely angles, dinks, lobs, you name it, he can do it. But of course, Jimmy Connors is a great fighter. He'll be desperate to take revenge for that defeat in Philadelphia, so that's going to be very close too.
John, this event is likened to the Davis Cup, but it's slightly different. What about the format?
Well, different, of course, because here, as you said earlier, 8 teams in 4 groups, and they play on a round-robin basis, not the straight knockout. But I don't think there's any doubt that the best 2 teams have come through. After all, anyone looking at the program at the start of the week would have said we must have America and Czechoslovakia in the final, and that's what we've got.
Well, we've got a great afternoon of tennis, and of course, after the 2 singles matches, the doubles, Ken Flack and Robert Seguso from the United States against Ivan Lendl and Thomas Schmidt. That could be the deciding match. Stay with us. It's a great afternoon of tennis right here on USA.
The 1985 Hombre Soler World Team Cup is brought to you in part by Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1985. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. By Dannon Yogurt. To anyone who really appreciates natural tasting yogurt, there's still only one. Dannon is yogurt. By Mobil Super Unleaded Gasoline. It's really powerful. By Seiko and your authorized Seiko dealer. This plaque is the sign you can trust when you want the best of Seiko. By the account executives of Payne Weber in over 285 offices nationwide. By Hilton, America's business address. What keeps America's business going is what keeps America's business coming to Hilton. And by Volvo, sponsors of Volvo Tennis, linking the world's great tennis events through television.
Back at the beautiful Rokas Club here in Dusseldorf, West Germany, and it couldn't be a finer day for a final match. John Parsons, we have a fabulous day, wonderful weather, a little bit of wind, but I'd say conditions just about perfect.
Absolutely, perfect conditions for what we hope will be a perfect match, because there is so much interest in this fixture coming when it does, virtually on the eve of the French Championships, and the match that we expect to be replayed in 2 weeks' time in the final of Roland Garros.
Very important match. John McEnroe there on your screen warming up, and certainly a very, very important match for him. 26 years old. There's Ivan Lendl hitting a few warm-up serves. We're about a minute and a half before actual play begins here in the finals of the World Team Cup. sponsored by Hombre Soler. Lendl serving much bigger lately than he has over the past few years. I think that might be a key to his recent success, John.
Yes, he's fitter, he's sharper, and he's certainly sharpened his serve tremendously. But you know, oddly enough, although we're all looking forward to this match, I suspect that deep down, perhaps these two guys would have preferred not to have been playing today, so close to Paris.
That's a good point, John. I'm sure anytime a major championship looms starting the next day, as it does now, the French, of course, starting tomorrow, Monday, in Paris, and these two players played in the finals last year. A lot of people in America saw that great match when McEnroe led 2-0 and then lost it in 5. So they probably would prefer to be out warming up somewhere on the outskirts of Paris than playing a big match here.
Absolutely. Psychologically, this could be very, very important as far as Paris is concerned.
Interestingly enough, John, as we look at the sidelines, McEnroe there without a coach, without a captain, very much on his own, as he seems to be throughout his entire career. On the other hand, Ivan Lendl is being coached today by Jan Kodeš, the great Czechoslovakian player. And do you think that'll have some bearing at all on the match?
I doubt it very much, because I think McEnroe is very much an independent-minded person anyway, so I think he knows exactly what he wants to do. I think the interesting thing is here that Jan Kodeš is the Czechoslovakian Davis Cup coach anyway, and so it's much more of an official event for them than it is perhaps for the Americans.
Well, that's interesting. Of course, Kodeš coaching today, we've seen through the years, especially over the last couple of years, Wojtek Fibek has been on the sidelines a lot, but now the crowd responds as McEnroe walks over. A full house here, 7,500. Peter Kasavage there in the chair from San Francisco, California, one of the good umpires on the world circuit. And we are ready to start for a big match. John McEnroe versus Ivan Lendl. Finals, United States versus Czechoslovakia in the World Team Cup. McEnroe serving, bottom of your screen. Well over the baseline on the backhand. McEnroe opens with an easy point, 15 love. Wind now has really settled down. About 10 minutes before the match started, a big gust of wind came up, but at the moment, very little wind. Lendl with a big return. McEnroe now walking up. I think John, watch it on the replay as he comes in, hits the half volley. Now watch Lendl close very quickly, kills the ball right down the center. McEnroe looking over. I think perhaps John felt it might have been a fault.
I think he thought that first serve was a fault. Important for McEnroe to get his first serve working quickly, because yesterday he served 10 double faults, and that was not good for him.
15 all. Lendl now way back on the serve, perhaps 12, 15 feet behind the baseline. And it's over.
30-15.
30-15. There you see Ivan Lendl taking plenty of time and giving McEnroe a lot of room on that service return. Big serve down the middle, service ace. Caught Lendl moving to the left.
40-15.
And I think that's going to be an important part today, John. That first serve, if McEnroe can hit a few aces, he'll keep Lendl slightly off balance.
Absolutely, because he knows Lendl is almost certainly going to serve extremely well against him.
Game point, 40-15. McEnroe again trying that big serve out to the forehand. Hits it well over the service line. Second serve. Double fault. Spin second serve, but it went just beyond the service line. 40-30. We're a beautiful shot there of the Rokas Club. It's a red, slow clay court, typical European surface. Gives both players lots of time to move into their shots and slide into their shots. Miss hit. That'll go well over the baseline. Another big serve from McEnroe. And he holds serve in the first game of the first set. McEnroe leading 1-0. We'll be back after these words from your local cable systems. 30 love. Out.
Lovely play there by McEnroe. The way he changed the pace in that rally.
Best point of the match, no doubt about it.
By
Both
far.
players really getting into it there as we watch McEnroe slice that ball deep. Lendl hits over it again. John now with a good cross court. Good action by both players. McEnroe kind of sneaks in on this ball. He's up at net, and there it is, but it's well over the baseline. Good play by McEnroe. For the first time, both players seemingly getting a little bit of feel. 30-15. Let first service. Lendl with that high toss. He really throws the ball high on the service motion. Catches the ball just as it leaves the top of that toss, but his timing is superb. Now 30-15. Will McEnroe take the second serve and come in or play it safe?
Another great point, and not only did McEnroe come straight in behind the serve, but he was on the way almost before the ball was over the net towards him. This is his great asset. He seemed to anticipate so well. Look at that there, the way he reaches that shot, and now he's in control of the point, even though Lendl runs like mad to get hold of it.
And we are now at 30 all as John McEnroe, for the first time, has some kind of a shot at a possible service break. 2 points away. Took a big chance there, but it worked for him in that last point. Big serve from Lendl. Caught McEnroe leaning a little bit down the middle. Ball really shot off this red clay surface. And Lendl has 40-30.
Still no point against the serve.
There has not been a break point yet. Both players really so far holding serve fairly easily. It'll go long. And so 2 points quickly after that great rally. McEnroe loses, and we are now at 2 games all first set.
And I like the way this game is developing. It looks to me as if it could become a really tremendous contest, because we've had some very good points already, and although the service games have been won reasonably comfortably, as we say, with no break points, the competition is clearly there in everything they're doing.
15 love. Lendl again, well behind the baseline. Drop shot. Oh, yes. Very good recovery from Ivan Lendl as he came up quickly, waited for McEnroe to make the move, and then just hit the ball. Watch McEnroe's serve, moves in quickly here, waits for the shot. There it is, drop shot. Now watch Lendl very quickly, and McEnroe trying to cover, just makes a quick move to his left. The ball goes past him up the line. 15 all. Ball was hit a little bit high, John. Gave Lendl time to get to it on the drop shot. Oh, yes. Fabulous get from Lendl. Not an easy overhead because that ball was moving very quickly as McEnroe comes in behind this serve. Lendl on the tosser. Now that ball was mishit. McEnroe hits a good overhead. Watch Lendl here. Hits the ball up the line into the open court. No way for John to get it. 15-30. Good
McEnroe certainly needed that point, because I think in the last 2 points we've seen he hasn't quite reacted as quickly as he should do. Lendl is covering the court a little bit more quickly at the moment.
Seems to be a lot more fluid in his motion than John. John still, for his tremendous speed, John, doesn't look that tough right at this moment. 30 all.
Beautiful shot.
Well-timed volley by McEnroe. Just waited for Lendl to make his move and then hit the ball behind him. Watch it as McEnroe hits the ball deep up the line. Now he takes the short ball, hits the cross court, moves in very quickly, right at the net. Now right here, Lendl moves cross court, McEnroe hits the ball behind him.
Wrong-footed him beautifully. He knew exactly where he was going to put that ball, and he knew exactly that Lendl was going to go in the other direction.
Advantage McEnroe. And that's too high. McEnroe in quickly. Oh, yes. Beautifully played forehand from John McEnroe as both players on the baseline. McEnroe waited and then just hit the ball behind Lendl once again.
And here you come and see this. It's another point which demonstrates how these two players are quite clearly the best two in the world. Just watch the way that McEnroe changes that direction and now again catches Lendl totally wrong-footed.
And so 30 all. McEnroe again 2 points away from a possible break of serve. That's wide. Yes, he's on it. The ball dropped much shorter on that second serve. Gave McEnroe a chance to come in, and he caught the backhand volley. Very crisply there.
This is already the best tennis that McEnroe's played here this week. He really looks well and truly motivated.
And for the first time now, a break point. John McEnroe with an ad against Ivan Lendl. If he wins this point, will be leading 4-2. Biggest point of the match so far.
What an opportunity he lost there. He played himself from being defensive into a winning position and then put that overhead way out. Completely mistimed it. McEnroe won't be very happy with that.
We talked about the wind earlier. It could have carried that ball there as John had it lined up. Big opportunity. All he had to do was put the smash away, and instead we are back at deuce. He may remember that one later in the day, John.
I think he probably will.
Back to deuce. Lendl serving 2-3.
Oh.
Big serve down the center, no question about it, as McEnroe just walks over to the ad side.
Advantage, Czechoslovakia.
You hear the umpire calling advantage Czechoslovakia. Remember, it's a team competition here, so it's really not Lendl versus McEnroe. It's Czechoslovakia versus the United States. Good first serve, jumps off that service line, and Ivan Lendl holds serve. We are now at 3 all.
And Lendl got himself out of trouble very well there, because really McEnroe should have won that point when he had that great chance, and then Lendl came out with that lovely ace and went on to win the game in a very confident manner, and I'm sure that will have done his own confidence no end of good.
No question about it, as we are 3 all, and what a match this is shaping up to be. McEnroe serving first point of the 7th game. Oh, and there it is. The touch which we've all come to admire so much in this young man from New York. He just came in, just barely touches his ball as McEnroe
quickly in. Now watch the racket work here. Just comes off the ball, virtually stops it 3 feet from the net. He leads 15-love. Lendl giving a lot of room now down the center. There's the shot John Parsons mentioned earlier. Very inconsistent for a world-class player.
It really is quite astonishing that he's still doing this. I thought he was going to be much sharper once he got into this match today, but the odd errors are still coming.
15 all. Service ace as the ball bounces well up into the crowd. That's the serve. McEnroe loves to change up. It's a natural tendency, receiving a left-handed serve, to go to the backhand. Lendl just moved slightly to his left, and McEnroe burned a big one down to the forehand. 30-15. Ooh, double fault.
And that just sums it up again. It really is astonishing. 4 points in this game, 2 brilliant ones, 2 total errors. And McEnroe was saying earlier in the week how he has been having trouble with his concentration, and certainly he's having trouble with it at the moment.
30 all, as you see Ivan Lendl well behind that baseline now, giving lots of room. Oh, strange looking shot, John. What a chance he took there on a big point. Deuce, 3 all, and he tries a drop shot, which ends up at the bottom of the net.
Well, it was bold, but that was about all you could say about it, wasn't it?
Very risky shot, as McEnroe now down, game point, a possible service break, and I'm sure at this point he's possibly thinking, if I had only put that overhead away. Instead, now he is in trouble. Let McEnroe probably thanking that was a let court, as Lendl went over and hit a big forehand, which would have been tough to handle. But we're back 30-40, first serve. Just misses. You can see there on the right hand of your screen how far back Lendl is playing on the return of serve.
Superb stuff, really was. McEnroe was really in danger there. He could well have been broken for the first time in this match, but he got out of it with those lovely shots, a whole succession of them, and then that backhand cross-court winner in the end.
Such a big point, too, John, to go for a shot like that, and yet he has the confidence when that ball bounces high to the backhand. He just rolls over it, hits out on the ball, and caught Lendl moving the wrong direction. Back to deuce. Big 7th game. Let first serve.
Yes, I still think that there's only one person in this world who can really beat McEnroe with any guarantee, and that's McEnroe himself.
Oh. Beautiful backhand return from Ivan Lendl off a very good serve by John McEnroe. I think John was very surprised at the pace on that ball. All of a sudden, he was into volley, and the ball was past his racket. Lendl used the pace of McEnroe's serve there extremely well, kind of blocked the shot, and yet hit a winner. We are now at 30-40, break point again for Ivan Lendl. It's wide. Unbelievable shot there as McEnroe did not hit the drop shot that he wanted. Lendl had the ball lined up and overhit it.
Now they both missed a wonderful chance for breaking each other's serve.
It's kind of like a comedy of errors here all of a sudden, John.
McEnroe in the last game, and now that one from Lendl.
Unbelievable that these two great players could miss those two kinds of shots. Back to deuce. Ooh, it's the tape. Now, Lendl started in to have a look at the serve and backed off quickly. He knew that it was a good serve, and so John McEnroe has stayed in this very important 7th game. He now has an ad. Not up as it's 2 bounces, and John McEnroe comes out of that game with a delicate drop shot off the forehand volley. And so this gentleman right here, John McEnroe, now leads 4-3 in the first set at the World Team Cup from Düsseldorf. Great shot there of this beautiful center court at the Rokas Club in Düsseldorf. A full house, 7,500 people, as Ivan Lendl gets ready to serve. He is down 3-4. He played it. Uh-oh, Lendl stopped play, which is really a mistake. Looks at the point. Now McEnroe looking over. Quickly called 15 love.
Well, what happened was that when Lendl stopped and put his hand up, the linesman then realized he'd made a mistake, and he actually put his arm out and agreed that the ball was out, but it was a terribly late call, and McEnroe, not surprisingly, is now asking the umpire as to how late the call can be before somebody else gets involved.
I think he's also saying, hey, if I just mark down a spot and say that ball's out, are you going to listen to me if it ever happens?
I think it was out all right.
I think so, John. But it's kind of unusual to see a player kind of stop the point at that. Beautiful change of pace there by McEnroe as he took that forehand and went in behind it. See him tapping your racket. Watch it as John McEnroe now moves over, hits a ball deep. Good footwork by both players. Now right here, McEnroe lines this ball up, comes underneath it. Now decides to come in right there. The ball's high, he puts it into the open court. Great timing. Quickness as he decided quickly to come in behind that, John. It was like all of a sudden he saw the opportunity and just went for it. 15 all. Ball default. All the lines people are mostly German officials from the clubs around Germany doing a fine job. Peter Kasavage in the chair. It's the line. And that ball jumped off the baseline.
Absolutely, but look where McEnroe was to meet that return in the perfect position on top of the net. I think he is reacting very quickly again now. He had that little loose spell, but certainly in this game, I think he may have been a little annoyed by that incident on the first point. It's really sharpened him up.
No doubt about it, 15-30. First real chance now, early in the game for McEnroe. wonderful backhand cross court. And that's the shot that McEnroe mentioned, evidently, John, that Lendl has really perfected, the cross court.
It's a new part of his repertoire, and it worked extremely well for Lendl in the Tournament of Champions in New York. McEnroe said it was not the sort of shot he was ever expecting from Lendl. I've no doubt he's got something up his sleeve to counteract it if he tries it too often today, but we'll see.
30-all. Lendl, so tall, has a lot of leverage, and if he can develop that great angle off that backhand, he's got the great shot up the line. He is going to be awfully tough. Another good forehand down the line. McEnroe just being patient, waiting for the opportunity, and then hits a fine shot with a lot of pace.
Yes, another classically played point by McEnroe.
And now another opportunity for John McEnroe. Lendl taking a lot of extra time. Knocks the dust out of the shoes. 30-40. 3-4, first set. Big chance here for the #1 player in the world. Oh, great big serve down the middle. Service ace from Ivan Lendl. And what a time to serve it. Second service ace for Ivan Lendl. What a time. 30-40, down 3-4. Lines it up and hits it right into the corner. We're back to deuce. Oh, McEnroe, same shot again up the line, but hits the tape.
The crowd here really enjoying this tennis. There was a case of Lendl changing the pace in the middle of the rally.
People started arriving as early as 11 o'clock this morning. The stadium was totally filled up a good half hour before this match started. And I'm told by Horst Klosterkemper, the tournament director, that the stadium was sold out maybe a couple of months ago. People anticipating this confrontation. There it is. Great running forehand from Ivan Lendl. As he motions over, the balls go down to the far side. And a great recovery from Ivan Lendl in that game as we see McEnroe getting quickly back, charges into net, hits the cross-court slice deep to the forehand. Now watch Lendl, lines the ball up down the line. Plenty of time. But a beautiful shot, only a couple inches inside the baseline. 15 love. Lendl having a look up there now. Checks the toss. Perfectly legal. Nothing wrong with that. If the sun comes out or if all of a sudden a gust of wind comes up, that's a real good play just to check it out a little bit. Good angle from the backhand. Fine topspin there. McEnroe showing that he's got some flexibility too, John, off the ground.
They're both right on top of their game at the moment, really are. Lendl checking the wind just then, it just shows that his concentration is 100% on what he needs to do. He knows he needs to be near perfection if he is to have another clay court win over McEnroe.
You saw there in that picture the tremendous amount of room behind Lendl in this oversized court. Oh, yes, McEnroe quickly in, hits a cross-court winner off the backhand, and he saw the opportunity, moved in on the ball, and just went for it. Watch it now.
Watch this, because McEnroe is such a craftsman, the way he works himself into the right position to win the points, and then it comes absolutely into the right position.
He knew immediately he had a chance there. Oh, and John just a little bit slow moving over there. I was surprised. I thought he'd get that ball.
Just occasionally he doesn't quite take off quickly enough.
There you see what I'm talking about. This court a lot of space on the sides. There's normally 12 feet, 60 by 120, but on this court there's easily another 10 feet on the sidelines for running room, and I'd say at least another 8 or 10 feet behind both players, so that allows for some great gets. 30.
The space barriers, because I think when the stands are not here, there are in fact other courts on either side.
Well, they converted to another playing area. McEnroe very unhappy. Tried to take that second serve, move in behind it, hit the ball well over the baseline. And Lendl now 1 point away from the tiebreaker. It's called out. McEnroe thought he had a good shot, overhit it just slightly. It was behind the line, and now John hesitating up there.
Yes, it was a good call, I thought, from here, but McEnroe is still sort of half querying whether the ball was over the baseline or not. You can see there he's just having a quick word with the umpire.
Well, it was virtually, John, in the same position that the ball. Well, listen here, McEnroe.
You waited to see what his call was. Now you're telling me you're not waiting. Why aren't you waiting then?
I didn't wait, John. I called it out.
I know, but why didn't you wait? Why did you wait the other time?
I might have been caught.
You told me that the reason you waited because you were waiting to see his call and you were going to ask him to see the mark. Now all of a sudden you completely changed the way you're doing it. Which way are you going to do it?
I'm going to call him out when I see the mark.
Why didn't you call it out the first time then?
I was late with my call.
That's not the reason you told me though.
I told you I was going to have the linesman check.
I mean, talk about inconsistency. You know, you do the exact opposite things. Why don't you have the guy check the mark? How can you see it so clearly?
Let's play, please.
Just play now, right? You're totally different in everything you do, and all of a sudden I should just go ahead and play.
But John, of course, is still remembering the other point when Lendl, much earlier in the game, put his hand up and suggested the ball was out, which it was, in fact, because the call was so late, and Peter Savage then waited for the linesman to make up his mind. This time he called as he saw the ball was clearly out, almost before the linesman, and John McEnroe is quick to pounce on that little bit of inconsistency.
And nonetheless, we are now at the tiebreaker. First point, McEnroe to serve. We said, John, that call earlier could come back to haunt him, and it certainly did right there.
He never forgets.
Oh, fabulous serve way out to the forehand. Lendl hit the same shot that was a winner earlier, but McEnroe quickly over to cover. Hit a great drop volley as you watch it here. Now watch how far out Lendl goes. Hits a good return. Look at the angle. Drop volley from McEnroe. 1-0 in the tiebreaker.
And it's really astonishing how someone can be arguing with an umpire 1 minute and playing a shot of that beauty the next.
I'm amazed at that too. I mean, somehow when he gets into an argument, the very instant it's finished, he is able to just put it out of his mind, start concentrating immediately.
Just like a switch.
0-1, Lendl serving, second point of the tiebreaker. He'll have two serves. Players will play 6 points and then change sides. Oh, and McEnroe missed the first time, hit a nice second shot, but the first one's the one that counts, unfortunately, and he was in great position there, John. As you see it here, watch McEnroe moves in very quickly. Now he's right on top of the net, has a chance, tries that drop volley. Whoops, didn't work. Let's try it again. 1 point all in the tiebreaker. Oh, McEnroe hits the drop volley and turns his back to Lendl as if to say, I've made the shot. I don't think you're going to get it. Unbelievable shot.
Well, he missed the forehand on the volley the first time, but you watch him take the backhand this time. It really is a great shot when it comes. The touch, the timing, everything is just perfect. Look at that.
I couldn't believe the way he turned around as if to say, take that, Yvonne. I don't think you're going to get it. I'm going to walk back and get the balls for the next point. McEnroe leading 2 points to 1. Good first serve, Lendl with the big forehand, tapes the shot. And now John McEnroe with the mini break is leading 3 points to 1.
And having let Lendl get off the hook, so to speak, earlier on, we'll see if he can now really force this home in the tiebreak.
Now John taking a little bit of extra time, trying to set up every point so crucial in the tiebreaker. Oh, it's called wide. Peter Kasavage motioning. The ball was slightly wide.
4-1.
Just missed, though, boy. As that ball went by, McEnroe for an instant thought right here that he had been passed. Watch the volley. Goes in very quickly. Hits a good cross-court volley. Lendl lines it up. Ball coming right down the line. Just missed wide. McEnroe leading 4 points to 1. John holds up his hands for a moment as if to say, I'm not ready. We'll talk about a controversy earlier in the week when evidently he really felt that he had gotten fast served. Oh, and Lendl mishits the forehand volley, took a big swing on the ball. Crucial point there. He came in, lined it up, mishit the ball, and McEnroe to a 5-1 lead in the tiebreaker. John, I was amazed that he tried that tough a shot on the forehand swinging volley there.
Well, extraordinary, yes, and also, I mean, when he was in the right position to have played it so badly.
Exactly.
This is the sort of thing Lendl of a couple of years ago would have done, but he seemed to have been overcoming that in recent matches, particularly against McEnroe. But that one could really cost him quite severely.
And now, as we mentioned earlier, the linesman comes out, drops down right at that spot is where John McEnroe has been serving in the first 6 points of the tiebreaker. Big hand for the local lines person there as he tries to get that court evened out. McEnroe ready to receive. 1-5, Lendl down in the tiebreaker. It's over the baseline.
5-2.
And Yvonne Lendl stays alive, 5 points to 2. McEnroe with a substantial lead here in the 7-point tiebreaker. Don't forget, first player to win 7 points, but has to win by a margin of 2.
And 2 serves, of course, now from McEnroe for this set.
Exactly. He'll be serving the ball just behind McEnroe, being tossed over. If he holds these 2 service points, he will have won the tiebreaker 7 points to 2. Oh, beautiful drop volley off the forehand, and that's the shot, John Parsons, we talked about earlier. Lendl hit exactly the shot he wanted to.
But McEnroe this time was there and playing it perfectly.
Well,
He was ready for it that time.
You mentioned he'll figure out a counter to that shot, and that certainly is one, but it's a difficult counter when you hit a drop volley off a great backhand. Set point, McEnroe leading 6 points to 1. That's long. Good. McEnroe goes for the backhand winner, hits it into the net. Kind of a tough ball to play. It floated through the air there. McEnroe looked at it, wanted to go for it, but missed it. 6 points to 3. John McEnroe leading in the tiebreaker. Lendl, however, to serve.
And Lendl actually has a slightly better tiebreak record this year than the American. So far, it's 6-1 for Lendl in the 7 tiebreaks he's played, 6-3 for McEnroe in the 9th that he has so far played before this one.
Oh, and he nails him down the center. It's a legitimate shot. I'm sure McEnroe not too happy with that ball. But Lendl hit really the only shot that he could. The ball was extremely low. As Lendl comes in behind the serve, you'll see what happens here as Lendl catches a ball. Good drop shot here by McEnroe. Now, watch how low the ball is. McEnroe, a target. Boom. I got you, John. He looked a little surprised. Not a lot of love lost between these two players, and I'm sure that didn't help it.
As you say, a perfectly legitimate shot. There was also a bit of space on either side of the McEnroe, I thought, but never mind, it was a winner.
Lendl hanging in, down 6-4 in the tiebreaker, still at set point. Again, missing on the first serve. Lendl, so often when he's down, likes to try and get out of the point with a big ace. Second serve. Oh, and a clean winner off the backhand for John McEnroe, and there it is. First set to John McEnroe, 7-6. He wins the tiebreaker, 7-4. But what a shot at such a crucial stage. Lendl just started to move to his right. McEnroe hit the winner, wins the first set as he takes off his shirt here at the center court at the Rokas Club in Dusseldorf. The score, McEnroe wins the first set. The United States wins the first set, 7-6. Just wide. Double fault. Our good friend Rino Tomasi, seated up here with the broadcasters from Italy, has informed us that it was 41 points all at the end of 6 games all in that first set. No love games. Every game went to at least 30 in the first set. Quite an amazing statistic. That's wide.
15 all.
15 all.
Yes, and I think that figure also demonstrates to a large extent the actual quality of the tennis as well, because for the most part they have really been winners. Both players are going for their shots. They're both trying to do something inventive and skillful, and so far it really has been a lovely match to watch.
Throw the ball low.
Well over the baseline.
30-15.
30-15. And there you see our vantage point here at the World Team Cup, and our good friend Rino Tomasi, seated just down below us here, is ever so helpful. A true veteran, wouldn't you say, John?
He's a classic. He comes up with every answer to any question you pose.
Oh, fine shot from Lendl. Beautiful lunging volley from John McEnroe, but Lendl is too tough.
30 all.
In fact, we've probably just got time to mention it was Reno. No, we've got this point coming back now. Watch this, because it was another superb point, and Lendl now gets it there, but McEnroe should have probably done rather better with it, but just put it into the net. Reno was saying earlier that it was not 12-10 to McEnroe head-to-head, but 14-10, because he discovered a couple junior results.
That's true. Now we've got another controversy. McEnroe thought he had served an ace here. Lendl looks wide. Now,
I saw.
there's the linesman.
What's this mean?
The ball's out.
the ball was out. How come the guy didn't call it until after he's called it?
He was late.
And you didn't call it, right?
I see it.
Edith the Savage under some heat now from McEnroe. Let's watch it again. McEnroe serves what he thought was an ace. The ball was slightly wide, but not called wide. Lendl went for it, and then a late call. Second serve. McEnroe rushed that shot.
30, 40.
Yes, these local lines people have in fact done a pretty good job most of the week, but we have had one or two problems. When McEnroe played Aguilera, there were quite a lot of disputed calls, and that led to one or two arguments and warnings and a penalty point and a fine earlier in the week. But their main problem has been one or two late calls rather than wrong calls.
Big point here. McEnroe down. Break point. Misses the first serve. And a big chance for Ivan Lendl to get back in this match. Love won 30-40, second serve. Oh, beautiful volley from John McEnroe as Lendl had it totally set up. Clean winner, tried to hit the ball down the line. McEnroe with those great reflexes and great hands just went over, got his racket on the ball, and there was so much pace on that ball. Watch it as Lendl hits a good return here. Now the ball sets up. Lendl quickly in, goes for the winner. Look at the touch. McEnroe on the ball hits a wonderful cross-court volley. Back to deuce. I really thought Lendl had that point, John. Oh no, John rushes the ball, really seemingly taking some chances there because that ball bounced up quickly and it was not that easy a shot to hit.
John gambled on that previous point because Lendl could in fact have taken it cross court, but he had the choice of going down the line, and then McEnroe on the very next point played a really feeble effort.
So again, McEnroe in trouble, down, break point. Looks over at the linesman. Good call. That ball was well over the service line. So again, McEnroe under a lot of pressure here. Just waits. Played that one a lot safer. Lined the forehand up and then just hit it for a clean winner. Lendl knew he was in trouble. The ball bounced up. It was a little bit of a short return. Gave John quite a bit of time to line the shot up. Back to deuce.
There's Strafschlag, first serve.
McEnroe stuffs that one ball in his pocket. Likes to just have one ball in his hand as he serves. It's wide.
I love the way that McEnroe sometimes, you just can't believe that he, of all people, could miss a shot. He doesn't very often.
He hits a half volley off the approaching shot. He just hits those shots so casually, John, and yet those are two difficult shots he just played.
Well, it's ridiculous the way he plays some shots off his feet like that.
It was not that easy. Just dropped and he gets the racket down so quickly. And there are the famous McEnroe socks as he lines those feet up his ad. Cuts off the volley, gets out of that game after being down a couple of break points. And so McEnroe evens it up at 1 game all as you see the wind blowing here at the Rokas Club. Ivan has a tendency to straighten those strings quite often as the match goes on. I think he uses it kind of as a way to settle down a little bit, take his mind off the game, reaches for some sawdust. Let first service. Let court judge there at the far left-hand side of your screen, right on top of this net. It's just a singles net here, strung very tight.
It's also one of the few lady Lions judges here this week.
Oh, tough return. Now John motioning. I think he wants that. He wants that court maybe tapped down. He's going back slowly here. Question is, will it? Yes, indeed. Here comes the lines person out. And I think he's requested, as we were saying, behind the court where McEnroe's left foot drags, there really becomes kind of a rut, and it's dangerous once that point's in play. You see McEnroe just taking it easy, said, I want that smoothed out. That's a legitimate request. I just wonder, John, though, how often he can request that, because obviously it's a nice break in the action.
Well, I suppose every time the hole appears, he's going to have to, because it could possibly be dangerous. And really, with somebody like that, he's a very highly strung athlete, and he needs perfection on the court as well as with himself.
Peter Kasavage, you saw him back in the chair, is in charge of this match, calling it both in English and German. Dreisig beide. You hear the German first, followed by the English.
Miss McEnroe is really quite concerned, though, I think, about that.
You can see as his left foot comes forward, a big spray of that red clay will come out, and obviously each time it digs a little bit deeper just behind the baseline there. It's long.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny that after 6 days you still have this problem.
And John doing a little complaining now. He says after 6 days.
I don't have the problem in any clay court I play on.
It's funny, but there's a problem here. He's complaining to the groundskeeper, actually, that after the entire week there's a problem. He says the only clay court he's had that problem.
So he's break point down again.
Big point here. Add out. Oh, it's out of the Lendl screaming. Really frustrated there because he needs to get back in this match with a service break.
It's the second successive service game by McEnroe in which Lendl has had a chance to break and hasn't been able to take it.
Was not that tough a shot either. It bounced up. Just the kind of a ball Lendl loves to go for and hit over. Back to deuce. Go wide. And finally, McEnroe missing what appeared to be a fairly easy backhand in that rally. As we watch it here, ball. Good forehand now. He just gets over to this shot. Now here comes the backhand that did not look that tough. Slices it, goes well wide. Look at John. How could I miss that ball?
I think he's still worried about moving on that part of the court where that hole has appeared.
Well, obviously, John, he has to avoid that area, and that's going to affect his timing and his footwork back there. Another chance now for Lendl. McEnroe down. 1-2. Add out. Oh, another big serve. Lendl hits the racket down. And for the third time in a row, a missed return of serve. I'm amazed that Lendl does not at least try and get that ball back in play to put some pressure on McEnroe.
You would have thought he would have played at least one safety shot in those three.
Oh. And now for the fourth time, Ivan Lendl stands at break point. McEnroe missing. Fairly easy forehand volley. This is about the loosest game we've seen McEnroe play since the start of the match. Hasn't missed that many easy shots. This game, 4 in a row. And another good first serve. Crowd whistles. Lendl looked, I thought it was good. It looked like it jumped off the line, John.
To me, it looked like a super serve, swinging away in that corner, right deep, as you can see now in this replay. That draws Lendl right out, and although he gets behind the ball, his return is way out over the sideline.
Good first serve, and so 4 saves by McEnroe. Back to deuce.
Here's Strauss, first serve.
McEnroe now getting testy with everyone. Lines people, the ball kids, the groundskeeper, and the umpire. And a good volley off a difficult return. Lendl hit a fine return on that ball. McEnroe up quickly to hit the backhand volley down the line. And now McEnroe with a chance to get even at 2 games all. The net, plays a fairly safe approach shot, gets the error from Lendl, and so John McEnroe, after being down 4 consecutive break points, pulls out that game. We are at 2-all in the second set.
But he's been playing really quite superbly most of the time, and I don't think there's any doubt that with the French Championship so close, that these 2 players really look in tip-top form for that very important tournament.
Well, as you said earlier, they probably wish that they didn't have to play this match on the eve of the great 2 weeks of the French Championships, which start tomorrow in Paris. However, it so happens they are the 2 best players in the world. They're the best players on their 2 respective teams, and Czechoslovakia has won through to get to this final, as has the United States. The next match, of course, Miloslav Mashir, the fine Czechoslovakian who's had such a good year, will play Jimmy Connors. But right now it's McEnroe Lendl. Lendl flailing away, and I'd have to say Lendl today with the forehand, John, has not looked as tough as that normal Lendl forehand. He has missed more forehands than I've seen him miss normally.
Yes, the extraordinary thing is that he has actually now got a wider range of shots, but the forehand is not quite the consistent power that it was.
Oh, beautiful shot off the backhand. Lendl regrouped very quickly there as he was quickly headed across court, put the brakes on, and then came back to hit it. Watch it now as Lendl hits the return. Watch him take off right here. Stops. I better get back quick. He does, and hits a fine shot right up the line for a winner. We are at 15-all. Great footwork there by the Czech. McEnroe again looking a little sluggish, and he has said, John, that he does have a tendency to get tired. I can't imagine he'd be tired this early in the match.
I wouldn't have thought so, although it is pretty hot out there today, of course, as well. That might be another factor, and he hasn't had too many long matches, but he ought not to be tired just yet.
You wouldn't think so, and the psychology in a 2 out of 3 set match is that you go all the way because you're not trying to hide anything. 3 out of 5 is totally different. Oh, another bad mistake from McEnroe on an easy forehand volley into the top of the net. And so now McEnroe in big trouble, down 15-40.
And for the third successive McEnroe service game, Lendl has his chances. Surely he won't let these two get away.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. He has gone for the return up till now. Will he try and get the ball in play? Big chance now. Second serve. Lendl sensing a possible first service break for him. It's over the baseline. Good rally. McEnroe still playing those almost half volley like shots from the baseline, but getting away with it. He feels confident with those shots as you see the crowd try to
I felt both of them were a little loath to take any initiative in that rally somehow. It's a very, very big point.
And still another big point as McEnroe gets ready to serve at 30-40. A chance for Lendl, another break point. McEnroe tries the big serve up the center, doesn't work. And for the second point in a row, he is faced with a second serve. Oh, Lendl lines up the forehand, hits it into the top of the net, looks over at Jan Kodesh as if to say, I don't believe it. Two chances, and he blows them both.
And he even allowed himself a little bit of a smile, but I'm sure he's not smiling within.
And of all the shots, John, his big forehand sitting right there, all he has to do is hit a pretty good shot. You know that McEnroe's not going to make much of it, but he hits it into the net. We are at deuce. Nope. Good second serve, draws Lendl way out wide. And from near disaster, down 15-40, McEnroe now has a point to even this set at 3 games all.
And if Lendl doesn't win this set, I think he'll never forgive himself because he's had so many chances.
He really has. You don't get a better shot at break point than that forehand that he missed. Advantage McEnroe. First serve, service ace for John McEnroe and Lendl. McEnroe ready to serve. This gentleman born just down the Autobahn in Wiesbaden, West Germany. When his father, John Sr., was associated with the Air Force. McEnroe serving. Let drops wide.
15 love.
McEnroe was well there covering it anyway in case it did spin in.
So many times the ball can hit the net way wide and the spin will bring it into the court. You got to really watch those kind of balls. It's the line. McEnroe tries big angle on that backhand volley. And there are new balls in play which could definitely affect things here. On a clay court, that ball will pick up a lot of the clay, get very heavy. And so McEnroe should be favoring new balls on his serve. 15 all. McEnroe didn't play the ball. Uh-oh. This could be a problem. He's waiting for the fault call. Peter Kasavage asks for the lines person to come out and check the mark. He points to a... calls it good. This could really be a problem now because McEnroe not happy with Peter Kasavage's calls. Watch it again as McEnroe lines up the serve. Now watch, the interesting thing here is that when he finishes the motion, McEnroe does not even attempt to hit the return. There you saw it hit. Watch it again. Awfully tough to call from up here, John.
Yes, except I must say my instant...
I'd just like to see his mark. Ask him to show me the mark.
McEnroe now asking for the mark. Uh-oh, Savage again appealing to the linesperson. If he changes this call, this crowd is going to go wild. Well, he's pointing, he's circling a point.
I must say my instant reaction was the same as McEnroe's.
We could have a problem here.
Not on the line. Number two, the mark. There's no mark where he just circled. There's not even a mark there. Why can't you go down and look at it? You're so sure.
We have to play.
Why do we have to play?
Because
this match is depending on that, and I want to get screwed by a call. Why can't you go see it if it's that important?
We're going to play.
Well, I want you to just show me the mark.
McEnroe now asking the umpire to get out of the chair. I don't think it's going to work. Why did you announce that into
the microphone? Let's play. What was the necessity behind that?
It was procedure.
Procedure? Is it also procedure to come to a mark that's nowhere near the line, what he called?
You heard it. This crowd being really, I would say, very lenient with McEnroe at this point, allowing him a lot of time, but the score 15-30. And there it is. That sharply angled backhand cross court for a winner. McEnroe, watch the angle on this return as Lendl lines it up cross court about 2 feet inside the sideline. And now for the second game in a row, John, on McEnroe's serve. Lendl with big opportunities here.
Fourth game, actually. Fourth game in a row.
Ooh, called a fault, and that ball did look like it skipped off the line. That ball looked like it hit the tile and really took off. McEnroe very unhappy. Big point. Here comes the lines person. He might change this call. He did. Calls it good. Lendl looks at him. Now Lendl is going to wait.
30-40.
No, he quickly moves over. Watch it again as the ball really took off. There you see it. It definitely hit part of that tile and spun off way out of Lendl's reach. 30-40.
I don't think there's any argument about that one.
It was a fault, but it was tight. Can McEnroe somehow miraculously get out of another dangerous spot here? And he does, and it's another forehand error from Lendl that lets him get off the hook. Lendl has got to be kicking himself. Overhit the forehand. And John, on every occasion, or at least on the crucial ones, Lendl has overhit the forehand.
Yes, it really is quite surprising. I can only assume that it's the nerves and tension getting to him once again. He thought he was over this problem, but it seems to be there again today.
No question about it, as we're back to deuce. Good serve, good eye. McEnroe just lets that ball go. Almost went for the volley.
Advantage, USA.
Yes, Lendl had a long look there, but it was definitely out. Just down in front of us on that time, we could see very clearly.
Strangely enough, McEnroe on the big points, except for a couple big serves, has really just kept the ball in play and let Lendl make the error, which is most surprising. Left first serve.
Mr. Aufschlag, first serve.
And he hits a drop volley, and the ball doesn't bounce at all on Lendl's side of the court. Unbelievable luck for John McEnroe. Watch this shot now as he hits the drop volley, comes in behind it, high bounce. McEnroe just gets his racket out. Now watch this ball. It hits the court and stops, virtually dropped about 2 inches up. Unbelievable
That
luck.
was extraordinary, wasn't it? It was one of the worst bad bounces I think I've seen for ages. Certainly not seen anything like that this week.
And John, what a time to have that happen.
Yes, I think McEnroe probably deserved a little bit of luck at some stage in that game after the first of those two very odd calls. But again, of course, he does take his arguments to extreme lengths.
4 games all. Ivan Lendl to serve. Well, I'll tell you, that was a strange game. McEnroe down 15-40. just barely got out of it, and then what a lucky break there when that ball didn't bounce. Nope. The crowd now starting to whistle, as they do in Europe. When they don't like something, McEnroe bashed the racket on the top of the net when he missed that volley. Nobody has left this court. Love. Lendl has done that on numerous occasions this afternoon from the far side. He'll throw the ball up and check the wind. Good shot. Lendl sliding.
15.
Now, a little check there on the net, right where McEnroe actually slashed the racket.
We just see the tournament referee there, Joachim Wolf, going back after straightening the net tape out. I think
that is the local referee, right, John? Who, not the supervisor.
Not the supervisor, no, the local referee.
Correct.
From here in Dusseldorf.
And now 15-all, 4-all, second set. We are nearing the crucial stages of this set, and certainly in the match. McEnroe won the first set 7-6. Service ace. Clean winner down the middle, and Lendl checks that toss because Lendl's toss into the wind is so high that I'm sure he has got to be careful. You see him looking up there. He has a much higher toss on the first serve than McEnroe. Fine approach shot. John timing it perfectly, hits the backhand, moves in behind it.
30-all.
And Lendl, when he checks that toss, is also looking into the sun in that corner too, so he has a double problem to deal with.
Well, it's 3:15 in the afternoon here in Dusseldorf, and the sun obviously moving lower in the sky, and that's going to be a factor from here on out. Match now 2 hours and 5 minutes old. That's wide. Another overhit from Lendl, and he can't be happy with that shot as he goes for a big backhand. And very suddenly now McEnroe with a big opportunity here. Break point, 4 games all. Asks for the ball person to throw the ball behind Lendl. Gives Yvonne just a little bit more time to think about how crucial this point really is. Oh, and a clean winner. Beautiful shot from Yvonne Lendl as McEnroe disappears back way underneath the barrier there.
And a good example there of where McEnroe with a big point did play the safety shot return, as you can see here. His prime consideration was to get the ball in play, but then of course along came the big Lendl forehand, and that settled it.
And you saw McEnroe slightly slip as he pushed off there, John. I think that hurt him. Let and a fault. Second serve. And another clean winner off the backhand as Lendl hits out. Big point to go for such a big shot, but it worked for him. Watch it as Lendl now lines up this backhand after a good serve. McEnroe floats the return here. Now Lendl right here goes for it. A clean winner into the open court, and he stands at game point. One thing about Lendl, even though he misses, on some occasions he will not slow things down. He still keeps going for the winner. Oh, McEnroe puts a fairly easy lob away. Lendl tried the topspin, tried to get it over his head, but mishit it. It fell short. McEnroe easily puts that shot away. Watch it. Good shot here, but all of a sudden, John realizes it's very short, and that actually turned out to be a more difficult shot than he had thought, because the ball was dying so quickly that he had to rush it back to deuce. Oh. Another fairly difficult overhead as Lendl, as John Parson mentioned, is looking right up into the sun as he hits that ball, but was able to put it away. Now you see it. Lendl crossed him up. McEnroe barely gets to this ball, hits a high lob. Now it starts to fade, but Lendl hits it into the open court. Tough shot there. That ball was high, a lot of wind and a lot of sun. Advantage Lendl. Let's second serve.
Second serve.
McEnroe was really ready that time. All set to move in behind it. Oh. Beautiful passing shot. Oh, and there was the shot. McEnroe tried the drop volley, hit the top of the net,
Deuce.
fell back on his side. And suddenly, from a 40-15 lead, John McEnroe now under real pressure, down 4-5, 2 points away from possibly losing the second set. And I'm sure he's kicking himself for letting this game slip into a deuce situation. Just wide. Lendl liked the looks of it. He's going to come up and have a look. For a moment, John, I thought it was a winner.
So did I too, but I think the call was correct. It looked just fractionally out.
He just had a look. He must have found the spot, satisfied himself that it was. Why? Watch Lendl now. He comes over, just lifts over the ball. Kind of a strange looking shot. He watches it. Awfully tough to call from the replay, but Lendl knew it was out once he had a look. Game point for McEnroe. It's out.
Nice shot. Deuce.
Good shot from Lendl on the full run. Hit it cross court. Made McEnroe stretch out a bit there. Was not an easy volley for McEnroe. Back to deuce. Talk about crucial. This couldn't get much more crucial here in the second set.
John, bring your mic close to your mouth.
Oh, and a bad error from McEnroe, and we are now suddenly at set point.
That really was a bad error.
Not that tough a shot. It was right down the middle, the kind that McEnroe normally plays very easily. He dumped it into the net, and so now these people, everybody on the edge of his seat here, as if Lendl could just somehow make 1 point. This match is dead even at a set all. Good first serve. Lendl tries the angle off the backhand.
That was a lovely serve, actually. He spun it right the way round and pulled Lendl very wide. Very clever serve, that.
I think he surprised him a little, John. He wasn't ready for that kind of a serve. I think Lendl felt it was going to go right down the center. McEnroe with that change of pace. And now here's another change of pace. Takes his time, ties the shoe. McEnroe has uncanny timing in crucial situations. No, it's way wide. Good jumping serve out wide to the forehand.
Advantage, USA.
7,500 people have not left any of these seats here. Total sellout at the Rokas Club. Waiting to see if McEnroe can get it even. There's the serve that Lendl was waiting for the last time.
Huge crowd here at this fine event.
And another error off the backhand. Lendl looks at the heavens as if to say, how can I lose that game? McEnroe has held serve. McEnroe to serve. 5-6. McEnroe, with the sun at his back now, will not be bothered by it from this side. It's good. John still a little slow moving over to that ball. Lendl hits a good return. Gets the ball deep as McEnroe kind of hits that half volley. Look at him. He changes his mind, starts to go in, and that hurt him because he was slow getting to that backhand. It's now love 15. Oh, tricky shot. McEnroe elected to let it bounce. One of those topspin lobs that could have come in. It went wide, 15 all. You see some of the upcoming doubles. That's Robert Seguso and Ken Flack just relaxing. They're going to be playing doubles for the United States later today against Schmid and Lendl. Just wide. Oh, that was close.
One, but he snatched just a little bit, and the ball went wide. McEnroe, still his concentration hasn't quite got back onto the course that it was for most of the first set. But it's a vital game here as he serves to take this set to a tiebreak.
30-15. Big serve down the middle. And there it was. Caught Lendl leaning to the left.
40-15.
Yes, a real beauty, that one.
Great timing. Isn't it amazing how he can come up with that big serve just when he needs it? Because at this point, as John mentioned, McEnroe not really concentrating or playing up to the first set. 40-15. 1 point away from a second tiebreaker here in this finals. Hit the line. And a good shot from McEnroe brings the error. And so McEnroe holds serve. Games go to 6 games all, and for the second time now we will have a tiebreaker in the second set. And John, quite a bit of money at stake here. The winning team will receive $200,000. Not sure how they'll split that up, but that'll be up to the boys on the team.
That's right, and $100,000 for the runners-up, so that's a really big difference. And but there's more than that at stake today. There's tremendous pride between these two players out there. Both of them were saying earlier in the week that pride as much as national reputation is at stake this week, and it's very clear from the way they've been tackling this match.
First point of the tiebreak. Lendl to serve. Both players now will stay on the same side of the court for 6 points. Then they'll change. Oh, McEnroe again looking just a little slow getting over to that backhand.
1-0 Czechoslovakia.
Once again, just a little bit sluggish, just when you least expect it too, because I mean, you would really have thought that on that first point of the tiebreak that he would have been more eager than he in fact was.
It is amazing the up and down quality of McEnroe today, and yet John, at 30-40 and at 15-30, he seems to just raise his level slightly. Serves the ace, serves the good first serve, plays those big points so well. 0-1. Right on the line, a clean ace. Just as we were saying, when he needs it, he seems to be able to reach back and pull it out. 1 point all. Lendl called a fault. Looked like it might have hit that line again. McEnroe accepts the call quickly. Back for the second serve. 1 point all in the tiebreaker. First player to get to 7 by a 2 margin wins it. Forehand into the net. Lendl very unhappy with that shot.
I think one of the great things we tend to overlook about McEnroe is that he serves so well, not just with power, but where he places the ball. It was very significant in the Wimbledon final last year. He actually won 66% of his points, either off the serve or off the first serve and volley. And it wasn't with a lot of power on that occasion. There was a suggestion that the serving authority in men's tennis might even be checked because McEnroe was serving so well in Wimbledon finals. Jean Barota suggested it. But it's not really true with McEnroe. It's not power. It's where he puts the ball so often.
1-2. Off the top of McEnroe's racket. A good serve from Lendl. And this tiebreaker is now tied at 2 points all. This crowd, nobody leaving. 7,500 people have packed the center court here at the Rokas Club to see the 2 best players in the world. On the Sunday,
I spotted a leaf.
It was right in the service court area. McEnroe now will take it off. There's a little psychology there. Lendl given a bit more time to think about how significant every point is in the tiebreaker. 2 all. That's good. A miss hit, and that ball will go wide. Lendl, the wind caught it. A tough shot to play. And so McEnroe breaks the point, at least, on Lendl's serve.
I wonder if that's going to be the vital break. After all the break points that Lendl's had, and now McEnroe gets one in the tie break.
Unbelievably close match here, and Lendl's got to be thinking about a lot of those opportunities right now. McEnroe serving 3-2. Called good. Lendl calls it wide and overruled. The lines person called it good. Now we'll see what happens here. He's going to come out. He goes with the umpire's call. It's an overrule. I think that was a good play by Peter Kasavage in the chair. It looked wide. Lendl thought it was wide. We'll watch it again. Awfully tough to tell from this vantage point as the ball hits. Doesn't skip off, which makes us think that it was a wide call. Second serve. That ball is wide. Another miss hit. Bad shot from Lendl. Not that tough a shot. And so McEnroe goes to a 4-2 lead in the tiebreaker. He is now 3 points away from the set and the match. Lendl quickly comes over. McEnroe ties his shoe a little bit more there as he crosses over.
And you know, Barry, we've mentioned once or twice how McEnroe's occasionally looks sluggish. I think we ought to bear in mind too, it's because we expect such constantly high standards from him. We don't expect him because
right.
That's right. I mean, he's such a brilliant player. And we're talking about he hasn't had quite such a good year as normal. He's only lost 2 matches in 37.
It's not a bad run, is it? And yet he's having a so-so year. Well, here we are. McEnroe leading 4 points to 2. Lendl still way behind the baseline to receive serve. That's a winner. And McEnroe sprawls on the court. Great shot from Lendl. And now you see what happens when you fall down on a clay tennis court. Watch it as Lendl with a good return sets it up. John gets caught a little bit here, hits the ball slightly short, gives Lendl a lot of time to set up. He sets up, drills it, his bread and butter shot down the line. McEnroe going for it, hits the court pretty hard, John. He might have knocked some wind out of himself there.
He could well indeed, and it's not the sort of risk you thought he might have been taking at this stage, but nevertheless it shows again how desperately determined he is to try and win this match. And he now walks back, having cleaned himself down, washed the mess off the racket hand and off the racket handle. It's so important that there's no grit or dirt left on the racket handle.
This crowd very impartial, giving both players a lot of applause throughout the afternoon. Certainly not taking sides at all. If the West Germans were out here playing, I'm sure it would be slightly different. called out. Overhit by McEnroe, and so Yvonne Lendl quickly with 2 points gets even. The crowd again, a big hand for Lendl. They want this match to go 3 sets.
And you can understand their feelings too. They're really enjoying this. And so I'm sure with any tennis enthusiast.
Well, as Horst Klosterkemper said earlier, it's a dream come true when you get the 2 top players in the world to play the feature match in a team competition. Ooh, big serve from Lendl. It was an ace if it hadn't been a let, called a let ball. You see the let court judge there, right on top of things. Lendl trying to get that clay out of the shoes. McEnroe quickly makes a real adjustment on that volley. Thought Lendl had him. Instead of going cross court, he tried the passing shot up the line, mishit it. So
McEnroe now 2 serves in fact for the match, and that would mean a repeat of his win here last year over Lendl in this same match. But Lendl of course got revenge that time in Paris. I wonder, are we just about to see the end of this match? And who knows, will it be another reverse in Paris? Somehow I don't think so this year.
5-4. Ooh, McEnroe goes for the ace down the middle, misses it wide. Second serve. Oh, and he has it all set up. Misses the volley, and he's killing himself because of all the shots. He had a wide open court there. Lendl totally out of court. All John had to do was drop that ball into the open court, and yet he missed it wide. He's got to be kicking himself. Watch this shot as Lendl is way out of court here, runs wide, hits the forehand. Now watch, McEnroe sets this ball up. All he has to do, into the open court, hits it well wide.
Well, that's what I meant when I said earlier about only McEnroe can beat McEnroe these days. I really think that's true.
Good example of it right there. All he had to do was block it. We would have been at match point. Instead, it is now 5 points all in the tiebreaker. Oh, jams him a little bit. Lendl ran around, and he has gotten caught several times trying to hit that forehand off a good deep second serve by McEnroe, which is going to jump into his body. It did. And again, we are at match point. Lendl to serve, down 5-6 in the tiebreaker. First match point of the set of this match, as we see Tatum O'Neal sitting on the edge of her seat at match point. Drop shot. That's wide. McEnroe holds his head in disbelief. Lendl unbelievable hits a drop shot on match point. McEnroe got to it quickly, tried a very, very acute angle, missed the ball wide. Points are now 6-all. Unbelievable, John.
That was a really bold shot by Lendl, and yet McEnroe, having reacted a little slowly, got to it and really should have put it away. And as you saw from his reaction, he couldn't believe that he just didn't. Yeah. And so the tension continues at 6-all in the tiebreak.
This is the kind of stuff that great matches are made of here. Everybody in this entire crowd loving Seeing the top two players in the world square off here, 6 points all. Lendl taking a lot of extra time before this second serve. Ooh. McEnroe took a big chance. Unbelievable shot by Lendl. John just almost went off his feet, kicks the racket back in disgust. Thought he had a good chance there. Watch it as he hits a good return here. Quickly into it. Now he moves in. Watch this right here. Tries to change directions, comes right off his feet. No way. I don't like it. There goes the racket. No warning. Peter Kasavage playing it very cozy.
So it's set point now, of course, to Lendl.
And now a chance for Lendl to win the set. That's wide. Lendl moves over, way over. McEnroe has a look, sets up quickly. Oh no, he misses it wide. And so suddenly, out of nowhere, Ivan Lendl, from the brink of defeat, down a match point, comes quickly back, wins the 2 points, and Ivan Lendl has won the second set in a tiebreaker, 7-6. This match now dead even, 1 set apiece. 15-love, Lendl again. Drop shot. Oh, yes. Very good recovery from Ivan Lendl as he came up quickly, waited for McEnroe to make the move, and then just hit the ball. Watch McEnroe serve, moves in quickly here, waits for the shot. There it is, drop shot. Now watch Lendl very quickly, and McEnroe trying to cover, just makes a quick move to his left. The ball goes past him up the line. 15 all. Ball was hit a little bit high, John. Gave Lendl time to get to it on the drop shot. Oh, yes. Fabulous get from Lendl. Not an easy overhead because that ball was moving very quickly as McEnroe comes in behind this serve. Lendl on the topspin. Now that ball was mishit. McEnroe hits a good overhead. Watch Lendl here. Hits the ball up the line into the open court. No way for John to get it. 15-30.
And McEnroe certainly needed that point, because I think in the last 2 points we've seen he hasn't quite reacted as quickly as he should do. Lendl is covering the court a little bit more quickly at the moment.
Seems to be a lot more fluid in his motion than John. John still, for his tremendous speed, John, doesn't look that tough right at this moment. 30 all.
Beautiful shot.
Well-timed volley by McEnroe. Just waited for Lendl to make his move and then hit the ball behind him. Watch it as McEnroe hits the ball deep up the line. Now he takes the short ball, hits the cross court, moves in very quickly, right at the net. Now right here, Lendl moves cross court, McEnroe hits the ball behind him.
Wrong-footed him beautifully. He knew exactly where he was going to put that ball, and he knew exactly that Lendl was going to go in the other direction.
Advantage McEnroe. And that's too high. McEnroe in quickly. Oh, yes. Beautifully played forehand from John McEnroe as both players on the baseline. McEnroe waited, and then just hit the ball behind Lendl once again.
And here you come and see this. It's another point which demonstrate how these two players are quite clearly the best two in the world. Just watch the way that McEnroe changes that direction and now again catches Lendl totally wrong-footed.
And so 30-all. McEnroe again 2 points away from a possible break of serve. It's wide. Yes, he's on it. The ball dropped much shorter on that second serve. Gave McEnroe a chance to come in, and he caught off the backhand volley. Very crisply there.
This is already the best tennis that McEnroe's played here this week. He really looks well and truly motivated.
And for the first time now, a break point. John McEnroe with an ad against Ivan Lendl. If he wins this point, will be leading 4-2. Biggest point of the match so far.
What an opportunity he lost there. He played himself from being defensive into a winning position and then put that overhead way out. Completely mistimed it. McEnroe won't be very happy with that.
We talked about the wind earlier.
Advantage, Czechoslovakia.
You hear the umpire calling advantage Czechoslovakia. Remember, it's a team competition here, so it's really not Lendl versus McEnroe. It's Czechoslovakia versus the United States. Good first serve, jumps off that service line, and Ivan Lendl.
Confidence, no end of good.
No question about it, as we are 3-all, and what a match this is shaping up to be. McEnroe serving, first point of the 7th game. Oh, and there it is. The touch that we've all come to admire so much in this young man from New York. He just came in, just barely touches this ball as McEnroe quickly in. Now watch the racket work here. Just comes off the ball, virtually stops it 3 feet from the net. He leads 15-love. Lendl giving a lot of room now down the center. There's the shot John Parsons mentioned earlier. Very inconsistent for a world-class player.
It really is quite astonishing that he's still doing this. I thought he was going to be much sharper once he got into this match today, but the odd errors are still coming.
15-all. Service ace as the ball bounces well up into the crowd. That's the serve. McEnroe loves to change up. It's a natural tendency, receiving a left-handed serve, to go to the backhand. Lendl just moved slightly to his left, and McEnroe burned a big one down to the forehand. 30-15. Ooh, double fault.
And that just sums it up again. It really is astonishing. 4 points in this game, 2 brilliant ones, 2 total errors. And McEnroe was saying earlier in the week how he has been having trouble with his concentration, and certainly he's having trouble with it at the moment.
30-all, as you see Ivan Lendl well behind that baseline now, giving lots of room. Oh, strange looking shot, John. What a chance he took there on a big point. Deuce, 3-all, and he tries a drop shot, which ends up at the bottom of the net.
Well, it was bold, but that was about all you could say about it, wasn't it?
Very risky shot, as McEnroe now down, game point, a possible service break, and I'm sure at this point he's possibly thinking, if I had only put that overhead away. Instead, now he is in trouble. Let McEnroe probably thanking that was a let court as Lendl went over and hit a big forehand, which would have been tough to handle. But we're back 30-40, first serve. Just misses. You can see there on the right hand of your screen how far back Lendl is playing on the return of serve.
Superb stuff, really was. McEnroe was really in danger there. He could well have been broken for the first time in this match, but he got out of it with those lovely shots, a whole succession of them, and then that backhand cross-court winner in the end.
Such a big point, too, John, to go for a shot like that, and yet he has the confidence when that ball bounces high to the backhand. He just rolls over it, hits out on the ball, and caught Lendl moving the wrong direction. Back to deuce. Big seventh game. Let first serve.
Yes, I still think that there's only one person in this world who can really beat McEnroe with any guarantee, and that's McEnroe himself.
Oh. Beautiful backhand return from Ivan Lendl off a very good serve by John McEnroe. I think John was very surprised at the pace on that ball. All of a sudden, he was into volley, and the ball was past his racket. Lendl used the pace of McEnroe's serve there extremely well, kind of blocked the shot, and yet hit a winner. We are now at 30-40, break point again for Ivan Lendl. It's wide. Unbelievable shot there as McEnroe did not hit the drop shot that he wanted. Lendl had the ball lined up and overhit it.
Now they both missed a wonderful chance for breaking each other's serve.
It's kind of like a comedy of errors here all of a sudden, John. When
McEnroe in the last game, and now that one from Lendl.
Unbelievable that these two great players could miss those two kinds of shots. Back to deuce. Ooh, it's the tape. Now Lendl started in to have a look at the serve and backed off quickly. He knew that it was a good serve, and so John McEnroe has stayed in this very important seventh game. He now has an ad. Not up as it's two bounces, and John McEnroe comes out of that game with a delicate drop shot off the forehand volley. He played it. Uh-oh, Lendl stopped play, which is really a mistake. Looks at the point. Now McEnroe looking over. Quickly called 15 love.
Well, what happened was that when Lendl stopped and put his hand up The linesman then realised he'd made a mistake, and he actually put his arm out and agreed that the ball was out, but it was a terribly late call, and McEnroe, not surprisingly, is now asking the umpire as to how late the call can be before somebody else gets involved.
I think he's also saying, hey, if I just mark down a spot and say that ball's out, are you going to listen to me if it ever happens?
I think it was out all right.
I think so, John. But it's kind of unusual to see a player kind of stop the point at that. Beautiful change of pace there by McEnroe as he took that forehand and went in behind it. See him tapping your racket. Watch it as John McEnroe now moves over, hits a ball deep. Good footwork by both players. Now right here, McEnroe lines this ball up, comes underneath it. Now decides to come in right there. The ball's high, he puts it into the open court. Great timing. Quickness as he decided quickly to come in behind that, John. It was like all of a sudden he saw the opportunity and just went for it. 15 all. Called a fault. All the lines people are mostly German officials from the clubs around Germany doing a fine job. Peter Kasavage in the chair. It's the line. And that ball jumped off the baseline.
Absolutely, but look where McEnroe was to meet that return in the perfect position on top of the net. I think he is reacting very quickly again now. He had that little loose spell, but certainly in this game, I think he may have been a little annoyed by that incident on the first point. It's really sharpened him up.
No doubt about it, 15-30. First real chance now, early in the game for McEnroe. Wonderful backhand cross court, and that's the shot that McEnroe mentioned, evidently, John, that Lendl has really perfected, the cross court.
It's a new part of his repertoire, and it worked extremely well for Lendl in the Tournament of Champions in New York. McEnroe said it was not the sort of shot he was ever expecting from Lendl. I've no doubt he's got something up his sleeve to counteract it if he tries it too often today, but we'll see.
30 all. Lendl, so tall, has a lot of leverage, and if he can develop that great angle off that backhand, he's got the great shot up the line. He is going to be awfully tough. Another good forehand down the line. McEnroe just being patient, waiting for the opportunity, and then hits a fine shot with a lot of pace.
Yes, another classically played point by McEnroe.
And now another opportunity for John McEnroe. Lendl taking a lot of extra time. Knocks the dust out of the chute. Big chance here for the #1 player in the world. Oh, great big serve down the middle. Service ace from Ivan Lendl. And what a time to serve it. Second service ace for Ivan Lendl. What a time, 30-40, down 3-4, lines it up and hits it right into the corner. We're back to deuce. Oh, McEnroe, same shot again up the line, but hits the tape.
The crowd here really enjoying this tennis. There was a case of Lendl changing the pace in the middle of the rally.
People started arriving as early as 11 o'clock this morning. The stadium was totally filled up a good half hour before this match started. And I'm told by Horst Klosterkemper, the tournament director, that The stadium was sold out maybe a couple of months ago. People anticipating this confrontation. There it is. Great running forehand from Ivan Lendl. As he motions over, the balls go down to the far side. And a great recovery from Ivan Lendl in that game, as we see McEnroe getting quickly back, charges into net, hits the cross-court slice deep to the forehand. Now watch Lendl, lines the ball up down the line. Plenty of time, but a beautiful shot, only a couple inches out. Just wide. Double fault.
Love
And
15.
our good friend Rino Tomasi, seated up here with the broadcasters from Italy, has informed us that it was 41 points all at the end of 6 games all in that first set. No love games. Every game went to at least 30 in the first set. Quite an amazing statistic. Now that's wide.
15 all.
15 all.
Yes, and I think that figure also demonstrates to a large extent the actual quality of the tennis as well, because for the most part they have really been winners. Both players are going for their shots. They're both trying to do something inventive. And
well over the baseline.
30-15.
It's ever so helpful. A true veteran, wouldn't you say, John?
he's a classic. He comes up with every answer to any question you pose.
Oh, fine shot from Lendl. Beautiful lunging volley from John McEnroe, but Lendl is too tough.
30 all.
In fact, we've probably just got time to mention it was Reno. No, we've got this point coming back now. Watch this, because it was another superb point, and Lendl now gets it there, but McEnroe should have probably done rather better with it, but just put it into the net.
For it, and then a late call, second serve. McEnroe rushed that shot.
30-40.
Yes, these local lines people have in fact done a pretty good job most of the week, but we have had one or two problems. When McEnroe played Aguilera, there were quite a lot of disputed calls, and that led to one or two arguments and warnings and a penalty point and a fine earlier in the week. But their main problem has been one or two late calls rather than wrong calls.
Big point here. McEnroe down, break point, misses the first serve, and a big chance for Ivan Lendl to get back in this match. Love won, 30-40, second serve. Ivan Lendl leading 3-2. He has just broken serve for his first bona fide service break of this 3-set match. He leads 3-2 in the third set. First 2 sets, both tiebreakers. McEnroe the first, 7-6. Lendl the second, 7-6. And what a match we've got here. Sun now really getting low. Shadows starting to get longer on this slow red clay court at the Rokas Club in Dusseldorf. Service ace.
And that's a pretty convincing way to start your service game immediately after you've broken.
Big first serve from Lendl. And Lendl at the moment seeming to get a little momentum going. McEnroe, as we just mentioned, a little bit sluggish at this point in the third set. You can see his shoulders down. He just doesn't look like he is 100%. That'll go long. This hit as McEnroe tries to come in behind the second serve.
I think McEnroe's in one of those positions now where he's not really quite sure how to deal with the way Lendl is playing. Lendl is producing, again, a good variety of shots, and the ones that McEnroe expects from him are not coming, and the unexpected ones are beating him.
And Lendl's consistency has improved here in the last few games, where he was missing badly. He's keeping a lot more balls in play as McEnroe looks at that service ace. Called an ace. It's quickly over. Liked what he saw. Didn't really like what he saw, but it was a good serve. So Ivan Lendl quickly goes to 40 love. This is when it really is nice to win a quick game on your serve in the third set. Just long. Now that's wide, and there it is. A very quick love game for Ivan Lendl. At a crucial point in this match, he goes to a 4-2 lead in the third set.
Yes, and I think you can see the shoulders of McEnroe have drooped a little bit there. There's no question about it that Lendl is really fired up at this moment. That tremendous point that he played to break in the fifth game, and then that service game which he served out there so competently with two aces, it's really put him in a firm grip of this match.
You have to think at this stage, John, that McEnroe is still a little bit thinking about that match point in the second set when he really let the match slip away.
Hossein Noor, 15 love.
Yes, it's desperately important now that he doesn't slip any further behind.
Down a break, 2-4. McEnroe serving from the near court to Lendl, who continues to return serve from way behind the baseline. He hasn't changed that position one bit the entire afternoon. That'll be good. Lendl, good return off the backhand. Fairly safe shot. It was well inside the sideline. Watch it as McEnroe now serves out wide. Plenty of room there. Ball just drops in about 2 feet inside the sideline. Good safe shot. 15-all.
Fine serve from McEnroe, but what an even better return by Lendl there.
15-30.
I think we have to remember that if Lendl wins this, it will mean he'll have won 3 consecutive matches against McEnroe on clay.
It's over.
Drops
over the baseline. This crowd now seemingly behind Lendl. They have really been cheering him on here in the third set. Good first serve from McEnroe. Changed it up. Great accuracy. As you mentioned, John, he really is able to place that serve so precisely. 40-30. McEnroe really needs this game to stay in the match. And he puts it away. And so John McEnroe stays very much alive, holds his serve to 40-15. The score is now 4-3, Lendl leading in the third set. So McEnroe now 2 points away from defeat. Lendl coming on very strong. Love 30, 3-5. Oh, beautiful volley. McEnroe actually stopped on that point. Lendl down quickly for the volley, and we are a triple match point between Lendl and McEnroe.
Unorthodox the way he played it, but my golly, it was effective.
McEnroe actually hesitated when he saw the shot go low. Lendl hit the winner. And it is now love 40, triple match point for Ivan Lendl. It's a fault. McEnroe up quickly. Puts away the easy forehand volley. And he is still alive. 15-40. Double match point. Can he pull this out? Good first serve from McEnroe. Somehow he has pulled himself together here, and it is now single match point. 30-40. Just long. A clean winner from Ivan Lendl. And so Ivan Lendl comes back from the brink of defeat, wins this match 6-7, 7-6, 6-3. Czechoslovakia goes to a 1-0 lead.